Welcome to Radical Personal Finance. My name is Joshua Sheets, and today I would like to extend my personal invitation to you to come and hang out with me, my family, and a couple hundred of my radical friends at the second annual Radical Personal Finance Family Camp, which will be happening this year, April 10 to 13, in Seymour, Indiana, right in the heartland of the United States. If you are unfamiliar with Seymour, it's basically right smack dab in the middle between Louisville, Kentucky, Indianapolis, Indiana, and Cincinnati, Ohio. This event is a fun and festive 4-day, 3-night event, which will feature a variety of guest speakers as well as a couple of talks that I myself will be presenting. Our themes for this year are the themes of dynasty and community. More on that in a moment. It'll have great food, great fellowship, great fun, lots of activities for you, for your children, if you're bringing children, and it's going to be a great time. This is our second annual event. Last year, it was really great, and we got great feedback on it, and so we are repeating it again this year. If you know just from that little introduction that, hey, Joshua, sign me up, how can I buy tickets? Then you can go right now to radicalfamilycamp.com, sign up there, radicalfamilycamp.com. Sign up soon. I'll go over details, but last year this event sold out in a couple of weeks, and I expect that to happen again this year. I hope it does. So if you're interested, go to radicalfamilycamp.com and sign up there. Now, let me give you a few more details, if you would like them, about specifically what we'll be talking about, specifically about the event, and a little bit about the genesis of the event. One of the things that I have wanted to do for years is to start hosting more in-person events here at Radical Personal Finance. I've attended a lot of events over the years, and I've certainly seen the value of in-person events. Maybe you, like me, find that a lot of your interactions with people have gone to some kind of digital format, and you kind of hunger for just more of that just old-fashioned connection. Like, why can't we just sit down and hang out for a while? But it becomes difficult. And I found that it becomes very difficult for me as a father to actually take advantage of all the opportunities that I would like to take advantage of. Number one, I've struggled for years to even figure out how to host Radical Personal Finance events just due to the needs of my children and my wife and not wandering here and there by myself across the face of the earth. And then this comes into play also with even me going to events. Is a lot of events are not particularly family friendly. And so if I'm going to go to a conference or an event or a meetup of some kind, usually I'm just going to go. And that, of course, comes with its own cost for my wife. And what about her? And what about the children? And so a couple years ago, a friend of the show, Andy, came along and he fixed this for me. And he said, Joshua, what you need to do is host a family camp. And guess what, Joshua? I found a perfect facility for you. And he had gone ahead and of his own initiative found a beautiful church camp facility that was going to work out great. And he said, all you got to do is just set it up, figure out what we're going to do, and I'll help with the details. And he did. And that was the inaugural event last year, which was a swimming success. Or a smashing success. I'm not sure whether I should say swimming or smashing. I guess smashing would be the more normal word. But the context here is that for our first event, we didn't really know exactly what we were doing. What we started out with was basically imagining the kind of event that we ourselves would like to attend, which would be a combination of some interesting talks by some interesting people on some interesting topics, mixed with a whole bunch of community building opportunities, as well as just fun for the whole family and a chance to hang out with our children. He has children, I have children, and so we kind of built the kind of event that we would like to go to. And our feedback from that event was really great. The vast majority of our attendees said, hey, sign me up. We'd be happy to come back again. And we got very good reviews, which we were grateful for. This year, we're doubling down on all those themes that we think are a winner. And so let me give you an idea of basically what you can expect if you are interested in coming. First and foremost, this is a family camp. That does not mean that you are not welcome if you are a single man or a single woman. On the contrary, you are very welcome, and I hope you will come. And I think you'll have a great time if you do come. What it means, however, is that this is a family-friendly event, and children are not added on as an afterthought. Rather, children are at the core of this event. I go to a lot of business events and business conferences. And every time I have to go to one of those events, I'm grateful for the opportunity, but I always have to figure out, well, what about my wife and our children? What about her? And she would like to be here. And yet, if we both come, who's going to watch the children? And so we have created an event and designed it from the very beginning to be extremely family friendly. And that means that your children are welcome. We have accommodations that are wonderfully suitable for you and your family, that are going to put you in community, not just sitting in some random hotel room isolated from other people. Rather, and I'll go over the accommodations in a minute, but you're going to be there in a place where your children are welcome. There's going to be lots of other people with children, so your children will make friends and you'll have points of conversation. There's lots of activities for your children, and we welcome them in the entire event. So this is a family-friendly event where children are a central core component of it. And we're working hard, even with the programming, as I'll go over in just a moment, for it to be available for you, so that there's programming for your children, so that you and your spouse can have a break and can really just hang out and enjoy being with other people and enjoy the learning opportunities from the camp. This is a hands-on family camp. So what this is not is you coming to listen to Joshua talk at you for 3 days straight. When we did the first event, I wasn't quite sure exactly what to do in terms of the agenda. So Andy and I talked it over, and basically we created the kind of event that we would want to attend, and that included a number of talks. And so I gave one of the tracks primarily, where I spoke for about 5 or 6 hours, and then we had a number of other speakers and a number of other talks and tracks. And that was great. But the problem is that one of the best ways for me to talk to you is the way that I'm speaking to you right now. I can speak to you every day on a microphone, and that works great. And if I have something that I want to teach, I can teach that really well in an online class. That's what I'm doing at RPF Academy, and it's working great. So in many ways, this format of me speaking to you digitally is actually a superior format for training. So why then come together for a live event? Well, there are a few aspects of it. Number one, I will be giving a couple of talks, which are talks that aren't going to appear anywhere else. I'm not going to record them and post them to the podcast. Also, of course, I'll be available to you, hanging out, answering questions, really interacting with you nonstop throughout the entire weekend. When I was there last year, just to let you know, I go to events sometimes, and the founder and host is nowhere to be seen. When I was there last year, I was available from the moment I woke up to 2 a.m. to hang out and visit with you guys. And so if you want to hang out with me specifically, this is going to be the best time to do that. But importantly, to the talks, I am bringing together a number of other speakers and a number of other presenters who are also going to be available to speak with you. I'm not going to tell you right at this moment what those talks are, because I'm still in the process of confirming them. But I'm working hard to bring together a group of really interesting speakers on topics that I think you will be very engaged with. But more than that is that we want this event to be very hands-on and very action-oriented. So we view this more as a training event, so that you're not just listening. The goal is not for you to come and listen to Joshua give you a list of 21 great ideas on how you can improve your life. I'm good at coming up with those lists. You're good at listening to those lists. But sometimes listening to somebody give you a list of ideas doesn't actually make any difference in your life. And so what Andy and I are really focused on is, how can we basically create active workshops? If we're going to create a talk on something and we're going to present some ideas to you, then we're going to follow that up with a workshop with implementation of that. I also want to profile you, the attendees. I want to see you coming together and sharing what you have with other people. One of the things that is constantly shocking to me and very humbling is how much cooler you are than I am. Whenever I interact with my listeners, I just think, like, I don't have anything to say. Like, you're way cooler than I am. You have way more to contribute. I should just shut my mouth and listen. And so at an event like this, I have an opportunity to do that. Of course, I'll share, but I want you to come together and share with others and be encouraged in smaller groups. And so I'm much more interested in organizing for this purpose. I'm much more interested in organizing an event where we've got circles of 5 together, many circles of 5 people together, versus me talking to 200 of you with just 1 to 200. That's not my goal with this event. So this is going to be a very hands-on event with lots of practical application, and I'm going to give you opportunities to share what you're cool at, what you're good at, and for you to have opportunities to ask other people the questions that you want people that you're going to admire and want their advice from. So this is a community-focused event in every way. You're going to come to this event not knowing anybody, and you're going to leave with probably a good solid handful of friends that you're going to want to keep in touch with and that you're going to get together with throughout the year. I know that happened in the last event, and I'm confident it'll happen even more in this event because you're going to find your people. If you're here and you like hanging out with me and you like some of the wacky, weird stuff that I talk about, then you're going to like the other people who like some of the wacky, weird, cool stuff that I talk about. So I hope that you will come and you will go away with friends, which is the goal. That's a convenient segue for me to what are the themes? What are the themes that I'm organizing this around? Well, the themes for this year are twofold. This is the themes of all the talks and all of the content and all of the training actions and workshops that we're going to be hosting. It's twofold. The first theme is community. Community is the common thing that I heard last year at the camp and that I hear right now. Community in all of its senses. People are asking, how do I find community? All of us are looking for community. How do I find community? How do I build community? How do I build more connection with other people? We are seeing so many aspects of our culture become fragmented and isolated. And in response to that, those of us who are leaders are saying, no, I'm not going to let it happen. I'm going to build and find community. And so theme number 1 of this year's camp is community. Theme number 2 is dynasty. Dynasty. So this is community is you flowing outward toward your neighbors and people around you. Dynasty is you flowing downward to your descendants and their descendants on down the road. Dynasty is something that I don't hear as much conversation about as community, but I want to hear more conversation about, and so I'm leading in that effort. There's so much of a focus, especially in the finance circles, and I used to fall prey to this myself, where I just think about, well, how can I get rich so I can fire? How can I get rich so I can become independent and travel around the world myself? Wouldn't that be fun? But yet, so much of our focus is lost when we're just focusing on ourselves instead of through our dynasty. I see myself as the patriarch of the Sheets family dynasty. That is my vision. And it is my vision that a century from now, my dynasty will be thriving and will be a blessing to the world in every way. And I hope that a century later it will continue and continue and continue. And so I am part of a dynasty of faithful men who have sown into me, and I want to take that and be effective in sowing that into others, sowing that into my children, down through the generations. And so there are a lot of aspects of dynasty that we just don't talk much about. We, of course, talk about, well, child training or something like that. Great. But what about true dynasty? And I want to start to help develop a vision for you and for your family and for your friends of what can happen if we focus on dynasty. Some of that is going to be basically visionary in terms of the non-technical side, and then the other side of it is going to be a little bit technical. We're going to talk about the financial planning that's related to dynasty, and I'll prepare a technical talk on that topic as well. But the idea here is to cultivate those two themes through all of the talks. All of the guest speakers, all of the workshops are all going to be focused on community, tools and practical tools as to how to build community where you are, and dynasty, how to invest into your next generation so that it will go on and proliferate so that you can be a blessing upon the earth. So don't expect to just be coming and sitting in a room all day in a conference hall. You're not. You're going to listen to some talks. We're going to do some implementation exercises. We're going to listen to some ideas, and then we're going to go out and do those ideas. And then you're going to be engaging with other people, and you're going to be talking about these ideas as well. So if this sounds interesting to you, I hope that you will come. Let me share with you a few details. As I said, the dates of this event are April 10 to 13. April 10 to 13. And it'll start on Thursday afternoon and continue to Sunday midday. So Thursday afternoon to Sunday midday. It is located in Seymour, Indiana. As I stated in the beginning, that's right near Indianapolis, Indiana, Cincinnati, Ohio, and Louisville, Kentucky. All three of those airports are basically equidistant, and so any of those that you want to fly into are good. You can usually find cheap flights into those activities, or you can drive. It's within driving distance of a good portion of the U.S. population. The event is being hosted at a large church camp that I have rented. And so, what you can expect is if you purchase a ticket, what comes with the ticket is all of your accommodations, your room, your accommodations, and all of your food. In terms of the accommodations, we have a variety of different options. So you can choose based upon personal needs. It's all, I think, very adequately comfortable. The reason I say adequately comfortable is that the facilities are nice. They are very nice. They are industrial and rustic. So what I mean is you're going to be the facilities are nice, but you're going to be sleeping on a twin size mattress that is designed for industrial use. So if that, you might want to bring, I don't know, extra padding. I slept well on it and slept fine, but if you need extra padding, bring yourself an extra padding, and so that you're prepared for, a little bit more softness. But everything is very nice, just rustic. If you're staying in the lodge, that'll be a certain way. If you're staying outside in one of the cabins, then you will have a private cabin with shared bathroom and kitchen facilities. So each cabin has access to nice bathhouse where it's heated, it's clean, you have hot water, hot showers, but it is going to be a shared facility in those cabins. And then there's also kitchen facilities and laundry facilities available for you as well. So again, nice but basic and rustic is what you should be prepared for in terms of accommodation. The great thing about the accommodations, though, is, as I said, it's all community focused. So I did not want and do not want to go and ever host an event in a hotel. I despise going to hotels with my family because you're so isolated. I want to be together with other people. We need, of course, appropriate privacy, so we need our own space, but I want to have a scenario where we can have serendipitous encounters with other people and where my children can have serendipitous encounters with other people and make friends and all of that. So this church camp facility is really well suited to that. In addition, we will provide all of your meals and all of your food. So, and we work really hard to try to make the best food that we're able to. And so I'm not just serving you pizza, but we work really hard to have good quality food. Last year, Andy and I spent a couple days smoking as much brisket as we could to have available for everybody. So you have home smoked brisket that is ready for you, or at least that was what we did last year, and I think we'll probably do the same thing again this year. But we want to provide the best quality food for you as we can, and plenty of it. One of our complaints last year in our reviews after the fact was that somebody said, well, the food was good, but I just wish there were more of it. And Ann and I were so frustrated with that because I guess we'd made an announcement of, go through one time and then come back for seconds. Because, of course, you never know, did I make the right amount of food for several hundred people or not? It's not easy to figure that out. And so somehow we left the impression in our public comments that there might not be enough food, and that was not the case at all. In fact, we had more than enough food at every meal, and we took home pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds of brisket after the event and all the food. And so we'll have good food, and we'll have plenty of it, so it'll be available for you. And of course, we try to work with any dietary restrictions that you or your family has as well to the best of our ability. So we'll provide all your food and your accommodations. All of that is included in the price. And of course, all of your entertainment. We have both, of course, the talks and the training sessions, and then we have entertainment scheduled for the children of games, supervised games, zip line, activities, bouldering wall, all that kind of stuff of just cool camp stuff that's available for them. And the setting is really great. The only risk is, of course, it's spring in Indiana. So last year we had one day that was cold and rainy, and then we had a couple days of glorious sunshine. Hopefully we'll have more days of glorious sunshine, but it's springtime in Indiana. If I could get the facility, I would move it probably later to the summer, but I can't get the facility in the summer. And so the weekend that I have is the weekend that I'm able to have. And so that's the constraint. So be prepared in case it's cold and wet, and we'll be ready for that and do as much indoor cool stuff as possible. But hopefully we'll have great sunshiny weather. Who knows? If you come, I do require that you stay with us on the property. So I am not allowing day passes. I don't want you to come and stay at a hotel 20 minutes away and kind of drive in for the day. That is not the kind of environment that I want. I want the environment for you to be together with some new friends nonstop for several days so that you can make friends and really engage, not just people coming in for a talk and then leaving, something like that. That is not the goal for this event. In terms of ticket details, If you go to radicalfamilycamp.com, you will see the various ticket options. Basically, it comes down to how big is your family and which type of lodging do you want. And so it's fairly consistent across the board. But since I have 3 different lodges with rooms in them, I have a dozen or so cabins, more than a couple dozen cabins that I'm working with. And so it's just a matter of finding suitable lodging for each different family. And you can find those specific details at radicalfamilycamp.com. If you're looking for a ballpark cost of what to expect, basically for a family of 4, this will turn out to be $1,000. So if you have a family of 4, depending on the options, 2 parents, 2 children, it'll be about $1,000, and that will cover all of your accommodations for 4 days, 3 nights, all of your food for your entire family for 4 days and 3 nights, and all of your activities. I have tried to price this as accessible as possible. My goal here is accessibility. My audience is not poor, but I don't want to, for this event, I'm not just trying to create a high-end luxury thing that only the rich people can come to. I want a great mixture of people, a great mixture of families. And I was really satisfied with that last time, and that's what I'm looking for. So I've priced this as accessible as possible. There's a little bit of profit in it for Andy and for me for our work, but not a ton. We're basically trying to cultivate community here. That's our goal. So we want to make a little bit of money for our efforts. It's not easy, and it's a lot of hassle to create this whole thing, but it's not designed just to be a big money maker. So I've tried to keep it super accessible. If your family's bigger or smaller, you'll see all those options available to you, and you can price it out. But I hope that works for you. I tried really hard to keep it super accessible. Last year, we sold out the event in a week. So last year, I rented about a third of the camp, and I sold out those tickets that I had in about a week. Then I went back and I was able to get about an additional third of the camp facilities available to me, and that sold out in a second week. And I couldn't actually rent that final third of the camp last year. This year, I've expanded it again, that this year I've rented the entire camp. And so last year we had 180 attendees. This year I have space for, I think it's 250, something like that. It's about 250 people is our max capacity. But once it's sold, and that's it. I can't expand it anymore this time. So if you're interested, move quick and go to radicalfamilycamp.com and get your tickets. I believe that covers everything that I want to share with you. Notice I'm just avoiding committing to a couple of speakers and a couple of talks, even though I have several of them confirmed. Over the next couple of months, I expect those specific details and the details of the schedule to change. And I'll update the attendees who purchase tickets as those events change. But I think you know the gist of it. That sounds fun. If you want to come and hang out with me and with my wife and with our children, and again, some other people that I think you'll really enjoy getting to know, please come. Go to radicalfamilycamp.com. Sign up today, radicalfamilycamp.com.